shared belief that a social space or cultural environment is safe for interpersonal risk-taking. And interpersonal risk-taking is being able to express oneself without feeling as if they are the victim, they are the enemy, or that something is going to happen to them because they are standing up for themselves, or they are asking the right questions. When we create psychological safety, what we are talking about is creating a space where you and I can have dialogue, and that this healthy dialogue helps me to grow. It pushes me out of my comfort zone. You cannot grow. You cannot grow if you are comfortable in your situation. If you stay in a place of comfort, it makes it really hard for you to learn something more, because that means you're grounded in your own stuff. In order for you to learn, you've got to step out a little bit. The water might be cold, but if you stay in there long enough, it'll get warm. Unless you're in Minnesota. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is what it looks like. We thrive in environments that respect us and allows us to feel included, feel safe to learn, feel safe to contribute, and feel safe to challenge the status quo. If there's a policy in place that we might need to talk about, then if there's enough psychological safety in that space, now it gives me an opportunity to say, hey, this is not right. That's what we're talking about creating when we talk about social change leadership. Now, here are 6 elements to navigate social space. Okay, number 1, communication is initiated. That means that in the spaces that you are in, you are going to have the opportunity to have communication. Relationship develops. Most people say that when they talk to somebody that they have a bad that because they don't get along, that they don't have a relationship. That's not true. You just have a bad relationship. Okay? So that means that every single relationship is going to bear fruit. But how that fruit turns out is all predicated on how you communicate. Conflict happens. There is going to be conflict in every situation. There's going to be conflict in every space that you occupy. But navigating that space or navigating that conflict well means you walk away with something that you've learned. Purpose is defined. You understand the reason why you're there, and you understand the reason why things are happening the way that they're happening. That means that now you understand the why of the individual that's in that space. Your mindset is revealed. When you're in that space and you begin to speak, what's in here now comes out, and that is something that we both have to govern and we both have to be aware of. And then power is shared. There's 4 types of power. There's power over, power under, power with, and control. Power over means that I have been given the authority over you, and you got to do what I say. Power under is, I know you got a job that needs to get done, and so because I am under you, if I don't do my job, that means that you have the possibility of getting fired. That's power under. Power with is, yes, I have been given control in this space, and yes, there's something that both you and I can share. How do we do this together? How can I empower you to speak truth to power? And then control. When we talk about control, what we're talking about is this. Control, in many cases, is driven by emotion. And when you have a person who thinks with their emotions, then that means that they're not they're not thinking in the space that they were supposed to be. Our emotions were never meant for us to think with. Our emotions were meant for us to connect with. Our thoughts, our cognition helps us to understand. But when I'm connected to you, that means I can have empathy for your situation. If I'm thinking with my emotions, then that means I'm in sympathetic dominance. That means I'm in fight, flight, or freeze.